Ready? 3, 2.
Halo, selamat siang. Selamat datang kembali Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian yang kami hormati. Senang sekali kita kembali bertemu di paruh kedua, di hari kedua ini, di The 6th Indonesia Fintech Summit and Expo 2024. Bapak Ibu dan para hadirin sekalian, selanjutnya kita akan masuk ke dalam sesi diskusi berikutnya, yaitu panel discussion yang bertopik Driving Financial Inclusion, the Role of Fintech in Empowering Asia's Underserved. Sesi ini akan berlangsung dalam bahasa Inggris. Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished guests in the station, speakers from the International Digital Economies Association, or IDEA, will explore how fintech innovations are transforming the financial landscape for underserved communities across Asia. Allow me to briefly present their profile. Aftek is one of co-founder of IDEA, and today will be represented by Ibu Dina Antarini, who is also chairwoman of Aftek's Payment System Department. Budina has 9 years legal practice experience in international law firms and more than 10 years in banking industry, specialized in compliance and legal, and currently work in fintech unicorn. Chia Hock Lai, representing Singapore, is a seasoned C-suite executive with nearly 2 decades in finance and technology, and now co-chairs the Digital Assets Association and the Global Fintech Institute, and is a founding board member of IDEA. Sakalni from the trust regulator Cambodia. He was appointed as Deputy Director General of the Trust Regulator of the Non-Bank Financial Services Authority, IFSE, Cambodia, and also an assistant to Vice Chairman of the Supreme National Economic Council. And then Raymond Siva, former Senior Vice President of Digital Investment, had departed from the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. He has more than 25 years of experience in strategic communications, investor strategy and promotion. He has deep knowledge of government and international affairs with extensive experience in stakeholder engagement, including investor promotion for private and public sectors at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Alexander Titov is the Deputy Secretary General of IDEA. His role is focusing on promoting digital economic policies and international collaborations, primarily across global digital majority regions, and also fostering partnerships and engage with global stakeholders to advance digital transformations and economic development in emerging markets. This session will be moderated by Amor Maklang, who is presenting the Digital Filipinas and co-founders of IDEA as well. Amor is known as a movement maker across ASEAN, leading cross-border collaboration among regional tech agencies. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's warmly welcome them with a big round of applause. Ibu Dina and IDEA representatives, we kindly invite you to come up to the stage.
Thank you so much to all our brothers and sisters here in Indonesia. I remember last year being on this very same stage, signing with Pahar in what is probably one of the first partnerships of IFTech with a regional association. IDEA, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, OJK and IFTech, to showcase the leading role of Indonesia in actually an ASEAN-oriented agenda in the global digital majority. The global digital majority basically represents 80% of the global population, and encouraging intercooperation between this region is paramount. I'd like to start the ball rolling with Dr. Alexander Titov, our Deputy Secretary General. Maybe can you give us an introduction as to what IDEA is and what is this global digital majority? Thank you.
Right, thank you, Amor. I hope everybody can hear as well. Glad to be here. So we represent International Digital Economies Association IDEA, which focusing on collaboration, working together for regions of the global digital majority. Now, currently, our association includes more than 70 countries from the global south, or as we call global majority regions. Consisting more than 80% of the global population. So it represents the global digital majority of the world. So we look at digital economy as a holistic approach in our organization, but of course fintech is one of the key industries coming across of other digital economy pillars. If we take in health tech industry, logistics and transport, smart city, or agriculture, for example. So even esports or halal industry. So fintech coming embedded in all of these digital economy pillars. So briefly, if we can speak about the major markets a part of ASEAN, which we have representatives here on the stage, I would like emphasize South America and Brazil in particular as one of our members and the leader in the region for fintech growth. Of course, it would follow by Africa. In our association, it's like represented by majority of African countries with the leadership of Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. Then we speak about the largest in terms of population country is India, and fintech sectors, digital economy sector is rapidly growing in India. And I'd like also to mention about the Central Asia with the leading role of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan countries in that particular region. And although all of these regions has their own characteristics and of course cultural aspects, some certain differences in government structures and private sector structures, but we all share also common features. Therefore, we see how can we work collaboratively together to address or to improve this work, what we are doing. And if we're speaking about underserved population, I think it's important to mention that we look at financial inclusivity a little bit different way, so not like a traditional banking industry way, as our economy is highly driven by geeksters, young population economy, creative economy, and for example, high-level adoption of crypto, referring to the previous panel, blockchain and crypto adoption. So it also has certain challenges coming together, but I think I will address it in the next question. Thank you.
Thank you. You're probably wondering, what is the role of Indonesia in this global majority? 4 out of 10 of the largest economies in the global majority are in this region: China, India, Indonesia, and Brazil. And for this afternoon, we will be focusing on the ASEAN-oriented agenda of the global majority. Now, you're probably curious to hear from each of our speakers. They will give you a quick overview of their digital economy and their fintech landscape. So why don't we start first with Ray from Malaysia. Ray?
Thank you, Amo. Selamat siang. It's good to be in Jakarta again. After 6 years, I'm back. Jadi, what's happening in Malaysia right now is very interesting, especially over the last 3 years. The digital economy is expected to contribute 25.5% to the country's GDP, yeah, which is roughly around 410 billion USD right now. It is currently at 23.2%, and you can see that digital is cutting across all industry. We recently, announced Microsoft with a 2 billion USD investment. You saw AWS 6 billion, ByteDance is in there. So in terms of the digital infrastructure and how we are thinking about building out the digital infrastructure, I think Malaysia is progressing very, very well. We also assumed the chairmanship of ASEAN next year. I think Indonesia was there in two years ago before Laos. And there's now a thinking around how do we work together within the ASEAN countries to drive the digital economy to new heights. There was a recent report by Temasek, Bain, and Google that talked about, it's called the E-Economy report, that really shows that the digital economy profitability has increased by 30%, yeah, driven by e-commerce. So I think the overall health of the digital economy, the overall health of the companies in the digital economy is doing very, very well. However, there could be better coordination in terms of regulation. Yeah, and this today we heard about this as well, right? The regulation around the fintech, blockchain space, digital currency. I think these are all the next waves of things that we need to look at to drive our collective digital economy forward.
I'm going to circle back to you later because there is this jurisdiction in Malaysia that I'm sure many of you are hearing about, which is Labuan, right? Many say it's a Zug of Southeast Asia, and we'll ask Ray more information about this. Of course, who doesn't know Dana? Raise your hand if you have a Dana wallet. See, very good, very good. So, Ibu Dina, we had a chat earlier with regards to being the undisputed or one of the leaders in Indonesia for payments. What else is in store for Dana? What else is in store for Dana, right? Payments, clearly you are the market leader. Yeah. What's in store?
Yeah, so basically Dana was actually being established or developed to serve or to cater Indonesians' populations, and our target is actually the underserved. So financial inclusion is actually our aim or our goal. So we start with payment. We make payment easy and easy to understand, easy to use. But this is only a gate for the individuals or for the users. So after payment, I think it is also done by other wallet in Indonesia. They try to serve the individuals by lending product, insurance product, investment product, and it's actually already been accelerating, the number of total lending in Indonesia, and also make the individuals in Indonesia understand and literate to the financial services.
Thank you so much, Ibu Dina. I was recently in Cambodia, I think a week and a half ago. And did you know, guys, that a gem in ASEAN is actually Cambodia in the financial services space? They being the only country in ASEAN with an established trust regulator. And we're very honored to have here the Deputy Director General of the Trust Regulator to tell us about this trust regulator framework. Bong Sakal?
Thanks so much, Amor, I having here. So I think Amor said is Cambodia is the one in ASEAN that have the trust regulator. I think some countries also have the trust, but maybe under the bank. But Cambodia, different one. We have the trust regulator under the non-bank. Cambodia financial sector divided into is bank and non-bank. Under non-bank, we have the SIC regulator, we have the insurance regulator, we have the trust regulator, we have real estate and pawn shop regulator, we have the accounting and auditing regulator, we have social protection regulator as well. So trust regulator is setting up under the law of non-bank authority. I think it's just 3 years ago so far. We still young, but very dynamic in the financial sector. So far, I think it's more than 1,000 cases come to register at the trust regulator. And under this, we think about the fintech and the trust regulator. We talking about this one, the trust under the General Secretary of the non-bank authority also have the fintech, but trust also have their fintech, but his fintech, but under the supervision by the trust regulator. Thank you.
Thank you. Later, I'll circle back to you to hear about the sandbox project that you're working with the government of Indonesia that can really set the stage for more intra-ASEAN learning when it comes to data sharing. How can we not talk about ASEAN and not talk about Singapore? And it's my pleasure to present our co-founder for IDEA, Mr. Hoklai Chia, and we'd like to hear from him, given the fact that you can't talk about fintech and not talk about Singapore. I want to have him look into the future. What are the new trends coming out of Singapore that you see will be relevant to ASEAN over the next couple of years?
Yeah, hi. As you may know, like Singapore, like Indonesia, is one of the leading fintech hubs in the world. We started our fintech journey early in 2015. In fact, I co-founded the Singapore Fintech Association in 2016. Today, about 40% of all the fintech companies in ASEAN are based in Singapore, and about 40% of all the fintech investments are raised from Singapore. So Singapore has a very unique position in ASEAN. We only have 6 million population, less than 1% of ASEAN's population, but how can we have so many fintech companies here? Because a lot of them use Singapore to raise funds and also use Singapore as a place, as a launchpad to ASEAN because of Singapore's smallness. It allows you to be more agile and then test out your product and scale out in ASEAN. So looking to share more later. But one of the key trends that Singapore is definitely focusing on now is real-world asset tokenization, because this is the part whereby blockchain technology has the best utility in an association with real-world economic activity when it comes to blockchain technology. Thanks.
Perfect. Now I'm going to throw a question both to Ray and also to Hoklai related to what you just referred to, which are digital assets, right? We were having a laugh about it. Of course, everything in jest. How do we ensure that the real world assets globally are not just tokenized by one company? So Ray, we'll start with you. Then after I'll speak to Hoklai about this. Tell us about this jurisdiction that we're all hearing about in Malaysia called Labuan. And why should ASEAN care?
So that's interesting. Thank you for that question. So we have Bank Negara, which is like Bank Indonesia here, that looks after the general financial markets, the macro policies, and the rest. And then we have the Securities Commission, which is somewhat like an OJK, right? Tapi there is also a parallel jurisdiction yang dipanggil Labuan, ya, that is on the island of Borneo, just above Sabah. Yeah, di sana we are promoting Labuan as an international financial hub. And that was actually, that's not new. It's been there from 1996 actually, that's when it was launched. But it's a lot more agile. And what happens there is we are pushing Web3 financial services, yeah? And this includes anything to do around with crypto, blockchain, and obviously real-world asset tokenization. And I think if you speak to anyone in that Web3 financial space, RWAs are now really the talk on how you unlock capital and how you move capital in a very safe yet transparent and efficient way. So Labuan is that jurisdiction for us. Read about it. Labuan Financial Services Authority, Labuan FSA, is the regulatory body that is looking at the financial services in Labuan. And it is white-listed in all the tax regimes. So it is considered a mid-shore, not an offshore destination, and a lot of companies have come in there. We've got 800 over companies registered, including trust companies, insurance companies, investment banks, many others are in there, right? So I'll be very interested to also listen to what Cambodia and you know, my colleague here, Zakal, is also going to look at with the Trust Commission.
Absolutely. See, we're already forging deals on the IDEA table. Hoklai, you've been one of the pioneers. I had served when you were chairman of the Asian Blockchain Association. See, where one goes, we all go, right? Tell us about why do we care about crypto? Clearly, this is the new language of value of the global majority. Later, I'll ask you, Dr. Sasha, because 19 out of 23 countries in the FATF gray list are from the global majority, and they attribute that to crypto, but more on that later. What are the prospects that you see right now in terms of digital assets and crypto that is brewing in Singapore, and ergo the rest of the world?
And first and foremost, I must clarify that not everything in crypto is regulated. A lot of activities in the Web3 are actually need not be regulated, and you need not a license to operate it. For example, one of the trending projects are those in decentralized infrastructure in Web3. But when it comes to crypto and digital assets, the trend is quite clear. More and more jurisdictions are started to regulate it, and those that are slightly earlier are actually tightening it. But this is not an easy space to regulate. You can see that in Indonesia currently, crypto is regulated as a commodity, while I know that next year it will be moved to be regulated as a security. In Malaysia, it's regulated as a security, and Singapore, we regulate it as a payment. But in Singapore, we started tightening crypto regulations since 2021. First, we banned crypto ATMs, and we banned public advertisement of crypto. In fact, more and more of our tightening are pointing towards investor protection. So you can see this is a space that is rapidly evolving. Definitely, in my opinion, I think it is good for the industry to be regulated, because or else it will be just dominated by the crypto native users. If you want to have mass adoption, good regulation that protect consumer interest and investor interest will be paramount. Thanks.
Bong Sakal, did you want to add something about crypto and Cambodia?
Thank you, Chair. I think if for crypto or digital currency related to SECC, and also is National Bank of Cambodia. But for trust regulator, we have the preparation or protection our client, our company, by setting the sandbox. In sandbox, we invite some people or technology that involved with the trust to play, and with the 7 regulation monitoring by the regulator. That we set the time, we say is if you play, if you want to exit the box without harm to another platform, and we have to make sure the risk protection and governance as well.
Thank you. Our theme is all about financial inclusion for the underserved, but the underserved doesn't necessarily mean the bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of the economic pyramid. I would like to ask everyone on the floor, how do you define underserved in your particular market? For example, I'll start. In the Philippines, one of the biggest underserved are the underinsured. We continue to have just less than 10–12% of those that are insured. There are more wallets than insurance policies. So that's on the Philippine side. Dr. Sasha, how about in your case? Who would you say is the underserved for the global majority?
Yes, as I already mentioned, it's like geeksters, gamers, and freelancers. So if we see the markets like in regions like Pakistan or ASEAN, so this is the largest freelancers communities in the world who are underserved and underinsured, and we are going to work towards addressing those questions because there is a lack of regulation, and we need a close collaboration to improve the regulatory framework towards that. And the fact I would like to elaborate on that 19 of global majority countries are listed in FATF gray list corresponds to the high crypto adoption in these particular countries, like Nigeria, Vietnam, and the Philippines being the global champions of crypto adoption. So it's clearly stating that regulation cannot keep up with the fast-growing innovation happening in those regions. And if we are looking for the solution or the way to address it using our platform, Idea Platform, I think there are also sort of a private and public partnership in sandbox and creating sandboxes. Like we can take best examples from ASEAN is Cambodia and Malaysia was mentioned here.
And Indonesia.
Indonesia, of course. And we have a global sandbox program coming out of South America. So that perfect framework for executing sandboxes and sharing the data and finding unified regulation for regions of the global majority.
Thank you. Ray, I'd like you to share our conversation yesterday on the importance of, or what is left unsaid when people talk about digital public infrastructures, especially given how inconsistent it is across ASEAN.
That's a really, really important topic, right? You can't have a digital economy without the interactions and transactions of data. That has to move, right? And for data to move, then you will need that public infrastructure. And if you're looking at the digital economy infrastructure of the future, you would have to look at AI to be top of mind, and how do you drive that, right? So if you think about it, all countries want to become AI nations. What does that mean? You probably have to do a lot of thinking around how you organize your data, how you build out your large learning models or your small learning models, your training models, and all of that will require energy, right? So if you don't, if you're not thinking about energy and how you drive your digital infrastructure, you're not going to be able to achieve the results that you want. So I think from a Malaysia point of view, we saw that unexpectedly with the influx of data centers that are coming into Johor and Cyberjaya, and how we are moving very quickly now into AI data centers or AI factories, because AI, make no mistake about it, will drive all segments of the economy, right? Tapi kalau nggak ada energy, then you're going to face problems, because then you will be a net importer of energy, and which means you're not quite sovereign with your digital infrastructure. Yeah. So the thinking around renewable energies, what is your energy mix, and how do you fuel energy to become a sovereign AI nation, building out that digital infrastructure, are key issues that I think all nations are thinking about. Yeah. And really that is where the ASEAN has to come together. Right? We have the ASEAN grid to drive the electricity, the wheeling of green electricity, right, from Laos to Singapore. We're looking to build out hydrogen capabilities in Sarawak to even support Nusantara and Sabah, Sarawak, and the rest. But what more can we do around renewables, around gas, and how do we have that shared vision about having energy security and therefore AI sovereignty for nations in ASEAN?
Thank you. Ibu Dina, they call it village banking, barangay banking in the Philippines. They call it kampong. Tell us how different the tier 1 cities and also the tier 2, tier 3 cities, like how different are they in terms of the use of the wallet?
Yeah, I think the usage of digital wallet is actually more, the traffic itself is bigger in the tier 2 or tier 4 city, because this digital wallet actually serving what we call the underserved. Those that actually doesn't have bank accounts, those that actually quite remote in terms of locations, and those that actually doesn't have enough educations to use complex financial services. So while in the bigger cities or in the tier 1 cities, probably the competitions is very tight, where actually there are a lot of banks, foreign banks, and all the digital wallets with all the complexity of the technology. While in the rural area, there are a lot of, people that still not served by financial inclusivity. So that's why the strategy of some digital wallets is actually to have a product that actually focus on innovations, how to help the underserved, and also a user-centric solutions. So the people in the tier 2 or tier 4 cities actually can be served with these financial services. And they start with a payment, and then they will be leveraged more into a more complex product like insurance or investment.
One of the most progressive regulators in ASEAN is actually that of Cambodia. Bong Sakal, what can Cambodia teach the rest of ASEAN in terms of being an enabling regulator?
Thank you, Ms. Chair. I think related to the how we teach, because I think we are not quite advanced for technologies in ASEAN.
I have to say they're too humble, Cambodia. They're too humble.
But anyway, like from my friend from Malaysia, Cambodian digital economy is very fast. I think so far Cambodian digital is quite advanced in. We have the Council of National Digital Social and Economic, and then under this one we have 3 committees of digital, like government digital, and we have the committee of the economic and social digital, and we have the security digital. So for me, like fintech right now is very popular in Cambodia. Like we work together, we supplement together with the bank sector. For example, like fintech, like Ring, Pay, True Money, E-Money, and then all those fintech from the city to remote area, the people can access the finance through fintech. And also, this fintech, for me, I think it is close to digital. Like the guy come to city, he working, and then he get a salary, and then he just one click to mama to send the money to remote area, and then, but next month, then the boy talk to the mama, hey mama, I don't have money to send because my girlfriend he asked me to shopping, then I don't have money to send you. And then this one incorporate between the digital and the fintech. And then at least mama know, oh, my boy has a girlfriend already, I no need to find a girl in Kampong for him. And that's it. It's just joking. But very important so far in Cambodia that the government encourage the fintech people come to join to play in digital era. Thank you.
Look, all eyes are on Cambodia as we work together in bringing Laos and Myanmar together in that region. Now, very quickly, before I ask everyone for a closing on what we can do together, not yet, I have a question for Hoklai. Clearly, the skills gap and the education gap between, say, a Tier 1 ASEAN country and a Tier 2 or Tier 3 ASEAN country is glaring. How can education help solve that? I know you being a champion of education for digital literacy.
I'll come from three angles. Like, I mean, yesterday I heard that in Indonesia, 54% of the population are Gen Z and Gen Millennial. I think that is a common profile in the rest of the ASEAN countries except Singapore, which is an aging population. So what it means is that the rest of the 45% of the population might have a digital literacy problem. So we might have a digital divide problem. So I think digital literacy education will be an important part of this journey. I think one of the good things that came out of COVID-19 is really it accelerated the adoption of digital payment, even in old people. Like, but again, payment is something that is easy to pick up. If you want more inclusion, especially for those who are not so digitally savvy, how do they access other digital finance solutions like wealth management, savings, insurance? A lot more education will have to be done. Then the next, I want to talk about fintech literacy among the small, medium-sized financial institutions. Yes. The big banks themselves, they are very well capitalized. They have a lot of resources to invest in technology to make themselves competitive. But that is not true to many SME financial institutions across ASEAN. So these institutions will need to undergo digital transformation. Again, education in digital economy will be very essential for them. Then next, to individuals like us, right? How can we capitalize on this opportunity? Because more and more things are going digital, right? How do we not just be a user of digital service, but also benefit from it by getting all the good roles that are created from this digital economy boom? So I think for individuals, you should seriously look at digital economy training, things like AI, blockchain, cybersecurity, data analytics, fintech, green technology, IoT, even quantum computing. These are the areas that will generate very good growth and good paying jobs in the future. So I do urge you to seriously look at it. Thanks.
Thank you. 30 seconds each. What can we do together with you and Indonesia and the global digital economy? Start off with Dr. Tito.
Shortly, two projects of idea related to fintech and facilitating collaboration in moving funds, let's say like that. So it's a global majority payment gateway on blockchain to facilitate cross-border payments between global majority regions and help to trade activities like export-import activities, and the global majority fund to support the talent in global majority regions, startups, innovations, and to keep those talents in the countries where they need to serve and solve problems locally.
So if there's any VC wanting to invest in the global majority or a payment gateway on-chain, please speak to Dr. Tito. How about in your case, Ray?
I think if we talk about digital financial inclusion, most of the countries are looking towards also launching digital banks, right? And the reason to launch a neobank or digital bank is to really serve the unserved, right? So we went through a phase of ensuring that there was convenient access to open up a bank account. We have an agent bank that we call it. The post officers were also functioning as mini banks. We had microfinancing. I think Hoklai also spoke about funding societies, coming out from Singapore to serve the needs of the micro SMEs across the region. And the next evolution, I think the digital banks are very, very important because this is, your access to financial inclusion, right? And the more we think about how we want to deliver services, financial services via the mobile phone, through wallet and through other means, I think it's going to be critical as we move forward. So interesting times, and we should really jump into that digital economy space. And if you guys are not thinking about how to use your wallet, not just for purchasing, but also for wealth management, for financial inclusion, learning how to manage your finances, perhaps it's time to start thinking about it.
Thank you. Very quickly, I want to hear from everyone. Ibu.
Yeah, I think the collaborative efforts between traditional financial services and fintech is very important. So these two segments cannot be worked in silo because the traditional financial services actually already be done earlier, while basically the fintech is trying to make the transactions or any financial services actually easier. But I think, and the other thing is actually, another collaborative is actually working towards the very close countries, like what we have done in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand about the crisscross border. So this is something that we can elaborate further. We can leverage on the strength of what the traditional financial services has done and the fintech has done, and what, like for example, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand are already doing, and, exchange informations to educate, which actually trying to make the financial inclusions works among the citizens of the countries.
Thank you. Bong Sakal?
Thank you. I think it's very important for cooperate between fintech and digital and mobile. Like I say, if the fintech and digital is a very corporate, so for example, like mobile banking, that the people just use the smartphone and then everywhere in the room, remote area. So far, like we are here and then we still use the ABA mobile banking to fill up the people in Cambodia need the money as well. This one is quite important that we need to integrate, and especially I need the conference or this one to think about how harmonize the fintech in around region. Thank you.
Thank you. Hokla?
Fintech is just one part of the digital economy. We still have e-commerce, e-sports, and many others.
Yes.
So, which is why we created the whole IDEA platform to be a collaborative platform for knowledge sharing, for education, and for awareness. So, do watch out this global digital majority movement idea. Thanks.
We love you, Indonesia. In behalf of our panel, Akun, terima kasih. We look forward to working with you in the global digital majority. Thank you.
Thank you, Amor Maklang, for moderating this special panel discussion session. We would like to extend our gratitude to our panelists from IDEA for their participation and for sharing their valuable insights in this session. So, once again, please give a big round of applause. There are some points that we highlight on that panel discussion. Collaboration is once again the buzzword for ensuring a strong international digital economy development.